Live. It should start here in just a moment. I'm having a lethargic start to my morning. It's not bad, it's just slow. All right, here we go. We're live. Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Valerie Lewis. This is Magical Monday Manifestations. And we come together every Monday to get messages from Spirit. I use cards, tarot, and oracle. And I also allow myself to be a channel, opening up to let whatever Spirit needs to share with the group to weave its way into the messages between the card interpretations and whatever comes through. So the overall big picture, why do we do this every Monday? I've been doing this for about 4 years, y'all. Every Monday we come together because we want to allow ourselves to be guided to all the things that we've been asking for so that we can manifest our lives and not be reactionaries to our life. We get these messages to help remind us that we truly came here as creators, we came here as creators to remember that we are creators through our life experiences, to be reminded of that, and then to pick up that torch and start creating our lives on our terms, regardless of what society and those who have come before us have done with their lives. We came here to create on our terms. So that's why we have Magical Monday manifestation, so that we can start manifesting our life in ways that are more pleasing to us. Jacqueline is putting some items over there in chat. I want to remind you, I'm going to keep on saying this. Some of you are sick of hearing me, but we are going to be moving away from the Meetup platform. So please join the new platform. It's WHOP.com, WOP.com, Valerie-Lewis. And there is a free membership. Join the community over there. That's where you will be able to see my new event calendar of all the events. There's also a forum on there. There's also a place for me to give you announcements, coupon codes, all the things all in one place. Schedule readings with me. So go check out that new platform. Please join even as a free member if you have not joined yet. And moving on from that, we have 2 events coming up this week. There is an event on Thursday evening called Chatting with Interstellars. It's one of the events that I love to do, and I'm getting back to doing that, hoping to do it on a more regular cadence. Chatting with Interstellars, the way this time it has been formatted. If any of you are familiar with the Abraham Hicks format with the large audience, there's someone that's pulled from the crowd, gets to sit in the hot seat, ask questions to infinite intelligence, or perhaps you're familiar with Bashar or any type of events like that where they pull one person out of the audience, that person asks a question, and then the channeler, Daryl Anka or Esther Hicks, channels answers from whatever source they channel from. That is what Chatting with Interstellars is. The people that I channel, the entity, I always feel weird calling interstellars people. I think people is a human term. The beings, the energies, the entities that I channel are from Sirius, which I consider myself a Syrian star state. It's called the Syrian Council. And so that's who I will be chatting with my interstellar friends. That's who I will be channeling during that event. So bring your questions, those big cosmic questions, those questions about life, those questions about your life, and join us in that fun event where I will be channeling answers for the group. And then on Saturday, the lovely, amazing Elizabeth Berkley and I are reuniting once again for our 3rd rendition of Two Witchy Women. And this time we're just doing readings because it's October. We're just doing readings for the group. There will be a group read in the beginning from both me and Elizabeth reading for the collective. And then you'll be able to pay for to receive a reading from both of us, 2 very experienced tarot readers, both digging in and giving you answers to your questions. That's going to be $40 if you want to participate on that level. If you just want to come and hang out, participate, and get the information from the group collective reading, and then also glean information from people who are getting other readings, then you can just join and come. And that's, I believe we set that at just $10 to join. I think that's what we have that at. Just for audience participation level. So we're trying out a new pricing structure where we have like a general admission, and then we have, if you want to get a reading, you pay a higher price and you get a reading from both of us, 2 of us. During that event, we are giving away a free reading. So even if you come in at the $10 level, you'll be entered to win a free reading. It'll be a one-on-one over Zoom with both me and Elizabeth present. We'll coordinate with all of our schedules with that. And you'll get, I believe we set that at a 30-minute reading. from both Elizabeth and I. So that's completely free. Well, if you're in the event, the drawing is free. So that's what I have coming up Thursday night, chatting with interstellars, Two Witchy Women on Saturday. And yeah, check out the new community because there's a lot of stuff that I'm starting to post there. My personal shares, my insight, my messages from Spirit are all going into that new community. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's reading. These past couple of weeks, it may have even been a month or so. Which deck do I want to go to? Let me let Spirit direct me to the deck while I pause for a minute. Which tarot deck are we using today, Spirit? Got it. Okay. What was I about to say? I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Jacqueline? Something about today. Oh, the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks, maybe even a month or now, when I get into the oracle portion of pulling the oracle cards, I've asked you all if you have any questions that are kind of pressing on you, something that you came here to get insight on. And I'm really liking that format. So I think we'll stick with that. When we get into the oracle, sometimes I will get to your questions, sometimes I won't, but I really like that format. So maybe be thinking of if something is coming up for you and you're just gonna put it in the chat. And if Spirit directs me to it, we'll try to weave the answer to those specific personal questions into the reading when we get to the oracle cards. So for tarot, we're going to Celtic Tarot today. Celtic Tarot. Let me get the cards pulled here. One moment. I need to settle into the energies of the group today. Got some cool energies going on. Some feel like a corner has been turned for some of you. Like bright shining light coming in. Like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I'm feeling. So everybody settle into your energies, what you are hoping to receive from today's reading. Your questions, ask them, send them out to the universe, send them out to the collective energies so that I can pick up on that vibe. Just cleared my space with sound here. I do believe Zoom cancels that out, so just know I'm sending out some good vibrations. Let's get these cards pulled. I think I'll pull about 5 tarot cards as I usually do. What messages do you have for the collective today, Spirit? Can you benefit and aid us? Back over there, and let's get started. I said it feels like y'all turned the corner. These cards are not indicating that. So I still feel like the overall vibe is that we have turned a corner, started something new, and this is just what's still ahead for us. Oddly calm over in the chat, oddly calm this past week. It's actually a very weird feeling for me since I'm never calm. Ah, interesting energies surrounding us. So first up, 5 of Wands. When I said it feels like good, and then the first card I pick is one of conflict and opportunities. That's what I call it. I don't like to lean too far into the conflict because the conflict arises for us to find an opportunity for a challenge arises so that we can see the opportunities that we may have not been privy to because maybe we were distracted and we weren't paying attention. And Spirit's like, let me start things up just a little bit because I need them to see all of these opportunities that are waiting for them. So challenges and opportunities. 5 of Wands, fives in the tarot and also in numerology often represent some kind of challenge. So here we have 5 of Wands, and it just looks like a bunch of young men are kind of going at it with their wands. They don't look very fired up, like they're not angry. They just look like they're trying to make their point, like they're just arguing. My way is the best way. There's a little in this card, looks like a Badger. What kind of animal is that? Is that a badger? I'm not. Y'all, if it's a good thing Adam named all the animals because I'd have fucked it all up. I don't be knowing these animals by sight. Five of Wands. I'm gonna go to the book and see what Celtic Tarot has to say about the Five of Wands. Wands is our personal power, our energy, our inspiration, our creativity. So Five of Wands right off the top before I go to the book. Five of Wands might interrupt. It might be interpreted as there's so many things I want to do and I can't pick one because it's that inspiration and that creativity, that flow of energy coming in. It's coming into you, it's streaming to you. So, yay for that. Give yourself a pat on the back because you've opened yourself up to be receptive enough to receive that stream of creativity and inspiration. But then once it gets into you, whether it's in your mind or in your energy field, it's something is getting confused. And that's why we have the Five of Wands. Something is challenging that energy flow or pushing back on that energy flow. Maybe you have so many creative ideas and you feel so inspired and you have a belief that you're holding that I don't have enough time. And that belief is kicking back and pushing against that flow of inspiration. And so now you've got an internal conflict. You've got Five of Wands going on. So that could be one interpretation if you've been feeling that. Let's see. Here's what the book says. Do you sometimes feel that regardless of how loudly you attempt to make yourself heard, everybody seems to ignore you? This might be work situations for some of y'all. Surely, yeah, I work for myself, and sometimes I don't even be listening to myself. So maybe it's not work. It can be entrepreneurs too. Surely your ideas and goals are just as valid as everybody else's, but why are they not hearing you? The trouble is, there is chaos here. And whilst your ideas are probably just as good as the next person's, they also want to be heard. And so does that other woman there and that man over yonder. The result being that everybody is doing a lot of shouting and nothing seems to be getting anywhere. It's not that people are out to get you or that you are out to get them. It's significantly more complicated than that. Whenever you have a group of people trying to work for a common cause, it can often be confounded by individual aspirations and thoughts. The boar, oh, that wasn't what did I call it? A badger. That wasn't a badger at all. That's a boar. That does not look like a boar. Where was it at? I lost my place. The boar, a symbol of strength, stubbornness, and chaos to the ancient Celts, is a reminder of the fickleness of humankind and our endeavors. I like that interpretation of conflict and arguing and feeling like you're in a situation where your voice is not being heard, because that can be so frustrating. But this interpretation is giving us a broader perspective and it's showing you the group as a whole, where you're not feeling heard. There's conflict because other people are also not feeling heard. It's the idea of everybody wanting to talk at once and no one listening. Everybody has something valid to have, to hold, to offer, but no one's listening to the other input because they feel like they're being quieted, or they feel like their individuality or their individual path or thought needs to be the one that everybody follows. So whatever that is that might be causing conflict, whether it's that internal conflict with inspiration and creativity that we talked about first, or whether it's conflict with other individuals, I like this big broad picture of looking at it's more complicated than just you're not being heard. It's a situation where chaos exists and others are trying to be heard as well. So maybe it's all people who are all just on the same level of wanting to do good for the planet or good for the world or good for the company, and they're just not coming together. Like minds are all trying to have their own voice and not really coming together. That's one interpretation. But I like the other interpretation also of the other idea that came to me when it said it's more complicated than that. Chaos exists. And it's the idea of there's a ball of chaos over here. We don't need to know what created the chaos or how long the chaos has been there or who's in charge of the chaos. Maybe that chaos represents your job. Maybe that chaos represents your department. Maybe it represents your relationship. Maybe it represents some other social construct. And you're looking at the chaos and you have this brilliant blast of inspiration, creativity from the divine. And you want to step in and offer that help. And when you step in, you feel as if you're not being heard. You feel as if you're being discounted. you feel as if no one is listening to you, it's because you stepped into chaos. Chaos that was not created by you, chaos that probably really has nothing to do with you, chaos that you're trying to benefit. But that's the pushback, is you took yourself from the outside as an observer and you put yourself in the middle of chaos. And that is a challenging situation. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. But recognizing that that's what's going on is going to help you navigate with a little more ease. Because a lot of times when you step in to chaos with the answer and people don't listen to you, what do? You get frustrated, you get upset. And now, guess what the energy of chaos is? Frustration, upset, anger. So now you intended to step in and provide calm and peace and answers and solutions. And because people didn't listen to you, all you're doing is feeding that fire. Now I'm frustrated because nobody's listening to me. Now I'm upset because nobody's listening to me. I know I have the answer because I know I'm connected and nobody's listening to me. And now my frustration and my anger is just fueling that fire of chaos. So there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. There's always a solution. Are you going to hold the eye of the storm, the calm, and the peace in the middle of that chaos? Or are you going to become part of it by becoming frustrated by what's going on in the group dynamic? So, Five of Wands, interesting card to start our week out with. But maybe that gave insight to something that might be going on in the collective. Next up, Page of Cups or Page of Cauldrons, as this one mentions it. I like that little raven, I'm gonna call it a raven, on her shoulder, and the cup coming out of the fish coming out of the cup. So the Page of Cups, cups being emotional, intuition, page being the messenger, someone with a message for us. I believe this is speaking to listen to your intuition to help you navigate this. There's a message trying to make its way through your intuition, your psychic abilities, your connection with spirit, that flow, that water, a message trying to be delivered. And if you listen, it will help you navigate the messages from the Five of Wands. And also, we got another five coming up that we'll talk to when we get to it. So we've got two fives in our spread today. So be spending some time however you like to receive messages. Maybe it's a walking meditation, maybe it's an active meditation, maybe it's a quiet sitting with your eyes closed meditation, whatever you need to do to feel connected so that you can receive those messages that the page is trying to deliver. Also going to go to the book on this one, Page of Cauldrons, creative beginnings, news being delivered, news or study. Let's see. In the Page of Cauldrons, we see the point of exit from the singular nature of the ocean to this experience of humanity. So that's what she's representing. She's stepping out of the water. And if you see what her dress there looks like, it's part of the water. She's stepping out of the water and into her human existence. Here, this is embodied by the goddess Browen and her totem bird, the starling. It's a starling, not a crow or the raven. The fish prevalent in the so all of the cards in the deck, the king and the queen are both holding a cauldron with fish or something to that effect, and it's just saying that this fish is a symbol of deep unconscious or higher self, and it occupies the cauldron that she looks at intently. She is aware of her source, and rather than compelling her into action, she is at peace with it, and is someone eager to contemplate, learn, and study the power inherent in the suit of cauldron. So she's studious, she's studying, she's aware of these things. She's not really moving into action at this point, but she's letting these messages come in so that she can find the wisdom in them, so that she can navigate what's going on in her life. Let's see, this card, the divinatory meanings. This card implies that there is more going on under the surface than meets the eye. Burr, burr, burr. That conflict that you're looking at, there's more going on under the surface than what meets the eye. It is possible that your intuition and psychic abilities are being stirred into action. The message, therefore, listen closely to them and give them voice. The message of the page is not to go with the This is in contradiction to what I'm saying. Now I'm gonna read it because I feel like it's from spirit, and we'll see what this little twist on this is. The message of the page is not to go with the flow. Listen to this. Only dead fish go with the flow. That part was funny. Only dead fish go with the flow. Listen, learn, and be receptive to the subtle message around you. This personality type is engaged in new beginnings that express imagination and spirituality. I believe what they're talking about of this particular flow is not the flow of spirit, it's going with the flow of society and society structures. Like, don't just go with the flow at your job. Don't just go with the flow within your community. That's what they're saying. Only dead fish just go with the flow. But you have a voice, you have individuality, you have purpose. So it's talking about that, not the flow of spirit. It's talking about the flow of construct, of education, of society. All right. So that's what we have from this message. This personality type is engaged in new beginnings that express imagination and spirituality. So again, we did have this card where I talked about imagination and creativity flowing into you and just not knowing where to go, not having a proper outlet. So this is the get calm and listen. Listen to your intuition and listen to the whisperings of your psychic abilities and really pay attention to that as you try to navigate what's going on. And next we have Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Shields. Now it's interesting that this Eight of Shields is on a boat. There's a lot of water. Eight of Shields in traditional tarot and in most tarot decks has no water in it. Eight of Shields, Shields being Pentacles, is an earth card, is an earthly connected card. But here we've got all the water from, I believe, from the same sea that the Page of Cauldron is stepping out of, which again is telling me this conflict is going to be best solved by you connecting spiritually. Water represents spirit. Water represents intuition. Water represents psychic abilities. Water also represents our emotions. So why in the world will we have an earth card, the Eight of Shields, set in a boat out on the sea? Spirit's trying to get a message to us. That's why I went to this deck, spirit led, and that's why this card is represented this way when it's rarely ever represented with water in the scene at all in other tarot decks. Spirit is trying to get a message to us. You need to connect. Maybe you all need to literally connect with water. Take an extra shower throughout the day, drink more water, allow the energy of water to flow to you and through you, and ask water if it has messages to you, because that's a lot of water for us to be ignoring that symbol. Look up water as a metaphysical term and see what symbols, what keywords come to you throughout this week. But the meaning of the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Shields, we see this workman. Looks like he's what do you call it? A cobbler? The people who work on shoes. It looks like he's making shoes. Oh, I got a term right today. A cobbler. And he is perfecting his craft. The Eight of Pentacles is that card that indicates someone who is trying to attain a level of mastery, not through perfection as a detriment, but through the fact that they enjoy their craft so much that they could do this for the rest of their lives, and they find joy in perfecting it. They find joy in trying to move to higher levels of mastery of their skill, of their craft. So this is in a good way. This person is continuing to practice their craft and continuing to improve upon it. So Eight of Shields. Eights are actually also in numerology. Eights are cards of action and manifestation. Again, even though there is a lot of water, the water is supporting this boat. The water is the support mechanism to help you move through your manifestations. So allow that spiritual support, the intuition, all of the things we talked about that water represents to support you, but also recognize that the Eight of Pentacles is an earth card. So it is talking about what are you doing here in your earthly incarnation? What are you doing with your earthly manifestations? What are you trying to skills that you might be trying to perfect or work on? Here's the advice is, if you're working on improving something this week, make sure you are completely surrounded by spirit. All that water. It's going to make it so much smoother. One more thing my eye just noticed as I looked at this card. And be playful about it. Why is there a little boy on this boat? He ain't got nothing to do with nothing. He's not even paying attention. Oh, it looks like he's about to hit that bird. Don't hit the bird. but he's just playing. He's just playing around. Be playful about your pursuit as you allow spirit to support you. And now we're up to the next five. I told you we had two fives in our deck today. So the next challenge and opportunity, this one looks a little bit better. Five of cauldrons, five of cups. Five of cups. What is this dark cloaked individual doing? Now that looks like a boar. Did I read the wrong five? Maybe I read the five of, no, I read the right five. Maybe that other one in the five of wands was a baby boar, and now this one is a full grown boar. Because that other one did not look like a boar to me. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Can you tell I'm a little distracted today? Okay, so a dark cloaked figure representing you in this situation. Five cauldrons. Look at this one. Or let me get it in. This one here, oh my goodness. There's one that has the rainbow emptying into it, and the other one is pearls around the rim of that cauldron. So very exquisite, very nice things waiting for this individual. Well, what he doing? He's worried about the ones that are already tipped over, the ones that are empty, the ones that aren't shiny. I don't even know if he notices the rainbow at this point. Five of cauldrons. Where is your focus? Five of cups. Where is your focus? Let's go to the book on this one, because there's a lot of activity in that one. I want to find what all of these symbols mean. This is a difficult card, particularly if it's framed by other cauldrons, which it is. We have the page of cauldrons that came before it, or more dreadful of swords, which we have nine of swords right after it, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So, particularly difficult card if framed by other cauldrons or the more dreadful of swords. But take heed, for the reality of this card is something that none of us can avoid. It is indicative of a common experience that we all share as part of the human condition. See the figure and its dark robe. Notice how its hem is blending in with the grass and fabric of the landscape. I'll show that so y'all can see it again. It looks like he's been standing there for so long that the moss has grown up onto his robe there. How long has this person stood here in pain? How long have you stood in pain? The implication here is that whilst in the grips of pain, its sharp edges seem to slow time. Pain feels endless. When will this end? The cauldrons have split their contents. Did this happen by external means? In the case of grief through death, the forces are very much external, but not all losses are by means of death. This card can refer to divorce or unemployment. The loss of income and stability are equally valid in the crisis of the Five of Cauldrons. There is something very real here with a deep and poignant message that the price of love is the pain of loss. I don't believe that, but this is what this person believes, and which is why they are stuck in this cycle of pain and can't move. But look to the rainbow. It is a bridge from the upright cauldrons across the river of grief and sorrow. So that river is representing grief and sorrow. But there are no physical means across the river of grief and sorrow, but no physical means is presented for the figure, meaning he can't get over the bridge. It's a rainbow bridge. It is the mind that must find the bridge. There's no physical way for him to walk across that bridge, but it's a rainbow bridge. It's a bridge. So it's saying his mind must find that bridge, find a way to cross over grief and sorrow and to remove himself out of that cycle of pain. The boar, this time it is a boar, the boar, a symbol of strength and stubbornness. Stubbornness, if you're stuck in that pain, stands to the right of the figure, indicating that strength is available. You just have to move towards it. Oh, that was a difficult interpretation for me to wade through with this deck. But I feel like I was drawn to this deck because there are so many messages with how this author is presenting the cards. And so maybe there is a different hint on the message that someone in the crowd needed to hear. someone in the collective needed to hear, excuse me. The divinatory meaning. This is another obvious card. There is sorrow here and deep emotional pain. Pain because it's emotional. It's cups, water, cups, and deals with emotion. For the time being, it is fine for you to focus on what has been lost, but do not lose hope. Don't stand there so long that moss grows around your pant legs. Time is subjective, and there can be no limit on the time it takes for you to be able to emotionally relocate the pain into the upright cauldrons and transition from this phase of your life. The river of sorrow may be revisited again and again as you have those memories that come up that trigger you, events that come up that trigger you, but find your inner strength. Find the bridge that will allow you to integrate those feelings into your experience and to transition and move yourself out of them. That's what I added that part at the end. Find that mental strength, that mental pathway to move yourself out, to cross over that mental bridge of pain and sorrow and put yourself in a better situation. That was a big one, y'all. There was a whole bunch of symbols and a lot going on in that card from the author's perspective. Let me give you Valerie's take on the Five of Cauldrons, since we have Five of Wands and Five of Cauldrons. Five of Wands coming first, telling us these two cards with all of this water, telling us to tap into our intuition, our spiritual connection to navigate through it. And then we have the Five of Cauldrons. I feel like as you navigate this, it may have been represented to you in a physical way, in the physical plane. And as you navigate this, emotions and feelings are going to come up around this situation. And there is a purpose in having those emotions and feelings come up. Some of them might feel like, damn, I thought I dealt with this already. Why is it up again? Some of it might feel like, oh my God, where did that come from? It kind of blindsided me. I feel like this is a scraping of the bottom and bringing it to the surface. Don't we also have a full moon this week? On Thursday, too. It's on Thursday, and this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If I was counting the cards from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is the Thursday card, y'all. So the sense that it's bringing these emotions to the surface so that we can deal with them is very real. With the Five of Cauldrons, you might be challenged by your emotions. Remember that you have strength available to you. Remember that you have spirit to help you navigate this. And in this case, I'm sensing be safe, consult a therapist or a professional if you need to, but I'm sensing it will be most beneficial to you when I'm speaking to the collective if you find a way to deal with and navigate those emotions instead of putting them aside because your life is too busy and who's got time for crying, or who's got time for sadness, or I'm just going to stop thinking that thought and move past it. This is a chance to ask yourself, if every time I think that thought, I get this emotion, how can I find a way around this? I don't want to just stop thinking about grandma or whatever the situation might be. I want to be able to find a way to think about this thing in a way that doesn't bring these negative emotions to me. So this is your chance to kind of work through some of that instead of just dismissing it and moving on, which sometimes is warranted. We're humans. We have human lives. But the message for this week is to spend some time using your mental abilities to find that rainbow bridge out of the situation that you are mentally creating for yourself that involves true and real emotions. And now we got the Nine of Swords. We got some, listen, I am sticking to the input that, because Spirit is still not telling me I was wrong. When I first sat with the energy of the collective, it felt like a page was turning. It felt like a bright light at the end of the tunnel. And all of these cards are like conflict and change and watch out. And now we got the Nine of Swords. We're ending on the Nine of Swords. I'm still standing by it though. I still feel like this is a new chapter, and I'm trying to get Spirit's input on how it feels new and it feels fresh, and we still have this. And right now, Spirit is giving me a Nine of Wands in my head. For those of y'all that are familiar with tarot, Nine of Wands is a picture of someone who looks like they just got woke up suddenly. They've got mismatched shoes on. That's Nine of Swords, Nine of Wands. If you have Nine of Wands, Nicole, can you hold that up? They have mismatched shoes on. They've got one wand in their hand, and it looks like they're rushing to defend something. That's the energy that I'm getting. Is it's almost over, but you're kind of battered up. You're kind of torn up by what's going on. So that might be you. You got the Five of Wands. You got the Five of Cauldrons. You've got messages coming in that sometimes they're not making sense. And you've got all of these messages about tap into spirit and feel supported. There it is. And but I keep getting the message, but the light at the end of the tunnel, but you've turned the chapter. And I feel like, yes, you have turned the chapter, but we're in that Nine of Wands stage. We got just a little bit more to clear out before we can truly move clearly towards that light, before we can truly get ourselves on the next page. We're right in the middle of that page flip. We're moving towards getting into the new chapter, but we're right in the middle of that transition. We're in that Nine of Wands, last stand, last chance to figure out stuff, and then you're going to move forward. So it feels like nine energy is what I'm sensing. And then we have the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is you didn't listen. No, it's not the you didn't listen card. Well, maybe it's the you didn't listen card, but it's the card of your thoughts have taken over. And now whatever you were thinking about is so worrisome that, or saying so stressful that it's keeping you up at night. It's causing you such mental anguish that it has now become a disruptance in your life. Now, let me phrase that a different way, because I always say, you're so stressed that you stay awake at night. And you could be saying, no, Valerie, I sleep like a baby every night because I take NyQuil or whatever it is you're doing. It's not necessarily keeping you up at night is the only telltale sign to whether your anxiety or your thoughts have gotten out of control. The Nine of Swords represents any situation where your thoughts and your emotions, mostly your emotions, but your thoughts cause your emotions, where your thoughts and your emotions are causing a disruption to your day-to-day life. So maybe you do sleep like a baby, but maybe every time you wake up in the morning, you have an anxiety attack as you get ready for work, or you have a panic attack in the middle of the day as you think about having to pick the kids up and sit in the line at school pickup. Do you have emotions or thoughts that are disruptive to your day in a negative way? Doesn't have to necessarily mean you're staying up at night. This is what the Nine of Swords is, because it's swords, it's your thinking mind. How can I evaluate the thoughts I'm having that are causing these emotions? Can I choose different thoughts? Can I have different thoughts about this situation, or about life in general, that will alleviate this? Because maybe sometimes the situation is a shitty situation, and no matter how much you think about it, maybe you can't find a good way to think about it. Okay, so maybe you can think about your faith and trust in spirit that everything's going to work out. Your faith and trust in yourself that you are a powerful being and that you can create what you want to create. And I can create a different situation. So how can you shift your thoughts so that your thoughts don't bring you anxiety, grief, or worry, doubt, fear, so that your thoughts don't bring you a situation that interferes with your pleasure of life? So the Nine of Swords is take a chance to look at your thoughts, because your thoughts are not working for you in this moment. How can you rearrange it? That was more challenging than I thought it would be. That was quite a challenging tarot reading today, because we got two fives. Of course, challenge is the energy that I'm picking up on as far as interpreting those cards. And the messages that came through from spirit were not challenging. It was the pictures and the interpretation of this particular deck. And I believe that was purposeful. I believe that was divinely led to be presented with challenge and still find a way to make it make sense through connection with spirit. That's how we did it. That's how we got through that reading. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the oracle cards. Ooh, it took quite a while on the tarot cards. Excuse me. We're going to move on to the oracle cards, and I already see a question over there in chat. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in chat. I'll see if I can get to them. I'll see if spirit leads me to answer those questions, or if we have just general messages from spirit. And I haven't gone to this deck in forever. I don't know why it's calling to me. I almost never pull from this deck. It's only got 22 cards or so. It is Zodiac Oracle. Zodiac Oracle. Let's see what messages we have that come through from Zodiac Oracle. On the back of the card is the big old moon. The question is, how may I go about my cleaning project? It's overwhelming and prevents some other things from happening. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question for spirit. Let's see if any of that comes through from the deck. Here we have Aries. I like this visual depiction of Aries. That's Aries energy for sure. Card number 1, Aries. Let's see what messages comes through about this. It's a cardinal fire sign. The key phrase is I am. The dynamic energy of fire blends with the cardinal can-do quality and advocates taking action. Take charge, take risk, take control. The key phrase I am means that the motivation is centered on the self. In this situation, ask, how does this benefit or affect me? Whatever you do, do it with as much energy as you can muster. The energy of Aries can be really self-involved. While paying attention to your own best interest can be a good thing, it's easy to get caught up in that track and lose sight of larger situations. So it's just giving to make sure you don't get too Aries. But Aries can definitely benefit you, especially if you're in a situation where you're used to serving others or you're used to being a caretaker for others. Aries is saying you need to take care of yourself first. You need to focus on yourself. What do you want? How much energy can you muster to direct towards the things that you want in life? I just knocked my unicorn over. I'll get it later. Love that card so much in that photo. Yes, it was really, I like it a lot. Let's see. What else do we need to know? Since we had all those water cards, we had the page. We have all those water cards. Yeah, we had the page of cauldrons, cups is water. We had the 5 of cups, also water, and then we had the 8 of pentacles, which strangely enough had the largest body of water in all of our cards, even though it's an earth card. So a lot of water energy. I equate water energy a lot with divine feminine, just because it feels flowy, it feels receptive. And receptive is divine feminine. So for that reason, I'm going to goddess and sirens, goddesses and sirens. I'm still upset that there's not a deck for me, a card for me in this deck, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Goddesses and sirens. There is actually a goddess that I identify with, so I guess I'm in here. Okay, so the first interesting. Okay, the card I just drew, Aries, key phrase being I am, completely different deck. Goddesses and sirens, and I got Baba Yaga, authenticity. I feel like the I am statement of Aries and the authenticity statement of Baba Yaga are going to go hand in hand. Now, she looks fearsome. She is not. I like Baba Yaga. I like her energy. Let's read her message. Well, I mean, she is fearsome, but there's a reason for it. Be yourself. Your power is who you really are. Resist the urge to create a false identity. You will overcome adversity by developing your own strengths. Those were the little key phrases. A little bit about Baba Yaga. Make sure I'm doing good on time because this is a longer read. Flying on a magical mortar and pestle, carrying a broom, this crone's white hair flies back from her wrinkled face. She laughs, sings, and meets your eyes, challenging you to step forward, closer and closer, so that she can see what you are really made of and what you are hiding. Baba Yaga is a Slavic grandmother goddess, a crone in every sense of the word. She lives in a house with dancing chicken legs and a door that has a lock lined with sharp teeth. She lives in the forest, and this is where most of her stories take place. Baba Yaga flies into our lives to remind us that we are so much more than we think we are. Y'all see why I like her? We may be frightened or going through a difficult time, but if we reach down to the place where our best self is, or up, I reach up to where my higher self is, we will be able to triumph over adversity. Baba Yaga can help us if we're being bullied, experiencing problems at home, or questioning whether we're going down the right path. Baba Yaga also advises a respect for oneself and one's individual journey. and she emphasizes the power of doing good deeds without expecting a reward. I love that. So let me tell you, with this book, Goddesses in Sign Room, many books that give symbols of this person, and I like to read what the symbols are because it's if you see this symbol in your day-to-day life throughout this week, that's a reminder of this energy to ask yourself, am I truly being who I truly am? So y'all gonna like this one because just guess what Baba Yaga symbols are. A crone with a broom. Anybody seen that around? I mean, it is October. A crone with a flying mortar and pestle, a house with dancing chicken legs, or skulls. Anybody see skulls around? So I'm just saying, this comes up at a time when it says, here are there's a pretty one. Here are the symbols that you might want to look for that will remind you of the message. I pulled this card in October when Halloween decorations are all around. If y'all can go out into the wild, out into your neighborhood, maybe not Canada. Does Canada have Halloween? But if y'all can go out into the wild and spend 30 minutes to an hour out in the wild in this time of year and not see a crone with a broom or some representation of a skull, I don't know where you're living. It's all over. And I feel like that is spirit saying, hey, look at these symbols in a different way. Because in this moment, I'm using these symbols to get a message to you, Page of Cauldrons, to get a message to you. Spirit is trying to get a message to you to remember who you are. Remember, you are more than you think you are. And I'm going to go as far as to say, we are always more than we think we are because our human brain sometimes cannot fully hold the capacity of who we truly are. So even if you think you're pretty great, you're more than that. You're more than that. That's your pep talk for this morning. You are more than that. Live in that energy. All right, let's see. I'm trying to do mindfulness and only concentrate on today, not the past. When remembering stuff from the past does protect you from getting into, planning for the future. How can I combine all these? I think concentrating on the current day is what making me more calm. Yes. Okay, so you have a memory from the past or something about the future that are in your aura, in your energy, so to speak. How can concentrating on the current, how can I experience versus fear, I believe is the actual question here. If you walk into a kitchen and there is a hot boiling pot of water on the stove, you do not put your hand into it because what? Because I remember that boiling water can burn my skin. So that's a memory that is keeping you safe in the present moment, but it's also a little bit fear-based. Um, so how do you blend all of that? How do you know when to reflect on the past and when to project into the future and how to stay present? I say let your emotions guide you. Always, 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 your power is in the present moment. Even when you're thinking about the past or thinking about the future, your power is in the present moment. If you can bring all of your attention to the present moment, and from that vantage point, ask spirit, what do I need to know about the past or the future that's going to benefit me in this moment? That's how you blend it. That's how you allow only the things that are going to benefit you to come to you. And while doing your best to stay in this present moment. So I'm going to be right here today, Monday morning, and I'm going to ask spirit, are there any memories from the past or any reflections on the future that are going to benefit me in this moment on my journey, in this place, in this time? And that's how I would blend all of that together. Let me see. Oh, you do have a Halloween there. And then the other question, I want to go back on that. As far as the cleaning project, it feels overwhelming. Um, Overwhelm comes from not having enough information. So look at that cleaning project and ask yourself, how can I cut this into smaller pieces and what information do I need to have to better accomplish this? Do I need to call in people to help me? Do I need to spend a whole day not cleaning at all and watching YouTube videos on organization? Go to YouTube and type in overwhelmed with cleaning and see what suggestions come up. It's not having enough information causes overwhelm. So when you can, maybe something in a video or something somebody says is going to be like, oh my God, I never thought about doing it that way. And now it's going to feel like a fun project because you just watched this video for 20 minutes. Now you want to go try it. And maybe you just try it on a kitchen drawer, not the whole kitchen, but just the kitchen drawer. And maybe that feels like joy. Well, guess what? You just got one kitchen drawer cleaned out. So overwhelm is caused by not having enough information is my general real quick, let me give some information on it. So gather more information. Maybe you don't have the right helpers to help you. Maybe you don't have the right cleaning equipment. Maybe you don't have the right organizational skills. In this age of the internet, we can find all of that pretty much at our fingertips. So do some more research on some things that might help you and maybe step away from that cleaning project for a day if you can while you information gather. Information gather. Eight of Pentacles, Page of Cauldrons, both of those have that same information gathering energy. So maybe those messages were a little bit for you to help you find your way through this situation. And hopefully, I'm sending you all, I know about feeling overwhelmed with the cleaning project. I'm sending you all the hope and all of the help that I can so that you find the correct way to navigate that. All right. Wrapping it up here. I think we're right at, where did my screen go? We got 3 more minutes. Let's do a fun one. Where should we go? Where's my Rebel deck? There we go. Once again, I hope you all join me on the new platform. It's a good way to keep in touch with me throughout the week, especially if you haven't joined me on my other socials. It's a private community, so you can feel safe to share what you want to share. You want to ask me questions on there, it's a great place to do it. I'll get to them as I can. But please join the community. I'm really excited about that community growing. Join the membership level if you feel so called. And I hope I see some of you back on Thursday and on Saturday at my other events. Rebel deck. Take a fucking trip. Maybe take a mental trip over that rainbow bridge to brighter paths, brighter shores. Take a fucking trip. I'm taking a fucking trip in about 3 weeks. Take a fucking trip. And the other side says, go see some shit, do some new things, talk to people cooler than you. There's a lot of people cooler than me in Denver, and I get a chance to talk to them. So I'm doing just this. I hope y'all find a way to incorporate this into your daily life. A little bit of lightness to our week full of challenging messages. Take a trip. If you say, I can't take a physical trip, take a mental trip. Take a day to take a mental trip. All right. Oh, Liz, thank you. I like the new platform. It's really great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Again, I hope you take these messages to heart and apply the ones that work for you, toss out the rest, but allow spirit to be part of your week this week. With all of that water, I cannot emphasize that enough. If none of these messages hit for you, that's fine. Link up with spirit and get messages directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, so that some of those messages hit and help you navigate this week. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.